Hey, good evening, everybody, and welcome to another edition of A Mummer Story. Today, I have with me Bob Griffiths from Frailinger String Band. Good evening, Bob. How are you?
How are you, John?
I'm doing well. I'm doing well. Hey, Frailinger, one of my top bands usually. You guys did well.
Yeah, yeah. A little disappointed we didn't win first, but third is not bad either.
Yeah. Compared to what some of the other bands I've been
Yeah,
finishing over the years, you know what I mean? You guys were always usually top.
yeah, yeah.
So yeah, cool. Let's jump into this. So, Bob, how did you get introduced to Mumry?
Um, the maintenance supervisor at my high school was in Garden State String Band, and I worked over summer as summer help at the school, and I was in the band, and he had asked me about joining Garden State, and that was 1979, summer of '79, and I was kind of shy, so I didn't really go up. And then in 1980, getting ready for the '81 parade, he came down to the band room and asked myself, another fellow named Joe Miller, and another fellow named Dave Damager if we would help the band out for New Year's 1981. And I'm the only knucklehead out of the three of us still doing it. I don't march anymore. I don't take a suit anymore, but I'm still a member of the band.
Very cool.
Yeah.
So when you were marching down Broad Street, what instrument were you playing?
I'm a saxophone player.
Sax. So is it safe to assume that everybody I interview is probably going to be some sort of saxophone player, I guess? Or maybe I should stop asking that question.
More, more than likely, because there's so many of us now versus when bands first started.
Yeah. So were you always with Frailinger String Band, or were you with somebody else?
No, I started in Garden State
Right, you did mention that.
in November of 1980. And I was actually an extra guy. I didn't have a suit that year. One of the fellas in the band named Charlie Schaefer, he had a van. So myself and a few other fellas rode up behind the band in the van. And I stayed with Garden State, and I was there for the merger with Durning String Band in 1988. And then I left in 1990 and went to Broomall for about 6 months because a bunch of my friends were there. And then from there, after Broomall, and we did a witch theme in 1991, and I left in February. This will be 31 years ago that I joined Frailinger this month.
So you mentioned that you're not marching no more, but so what is your role with Frailinger now?
Well, I'm still a member. New Year's Day, because I just had knee surgery back in June, and I have to get my other knee operated on. It's hard for me to march now. So I didn't go on the street with the band, but I helped out back at the club, setting up, make sure the guys had the food set up and everything for when the band got back.
Do you plan on making a comeback?
I hope to.
Very
Once my knees are straightened out. My son's in the band also, so I miss hanging with him.
Well, like you said, it's a family thing, and you miss marching with your son. So
Yeah.
With being out, what is it that you miss the most?
Just seeing the guys. I went before New Year's for a men's Christmas party and hung out, and just about everyone shows up, and we do a toast to our deceased members. So that's nice, and I didn't want to miss that. So yeah, hanging out with the guys, having them bust my chops and things like that.
So what would have been your most favorite performance?
My most favorite, well, Frailinger won 8 years in a row from 2003 to 2010. And Pirates was 2004. And then 2005, we did Gypsies. They're my two favorites.
Oh, nice. You mentioned some of these themes, and I do remember, I think you mentioned the witches. I kind of vaguely remember watching that.
Mm-hmm.
Just certain, like you said, certain performances always, and I'm not even in it. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And you know what? It didn't matter where I was at. If I was young and I was visiting family members, somebody in my family, no matter where I went on New Year's Day, always had the Mummers on. That's just like, you're from Philadelphia. It is what it is, you know?
Yeah, especially if you're from South Philly.
No, I am a Port Richmond guy.
Oh, okay. I'm saying that, I mean, it's more likely for someone to have it on if you're from South Philly because there's somebody in the family's marching or parading on New Year's Day.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. So I was, again, being from Port Richmond, I was always a Polish American string band guy, but again, just a fan of Mumry.
Yeah, they've always had a nice band. Yeah, a good bunch of guys there. I know I don't know a whole lot of guys in their band, but the guys I do know are great. And if we go to their club, they always treat us great.
So over the years, again, the performances have gotten even better. The props, just the innovation of all, how everything is getting put together has been out of this world, mind blowing. By the way,
Yeah.
So how can I put this? You're getting ready to step up to that stage, the judges area, and with all this, how, like I said, how everything's changed. Has the adrenaline gotten more, like, since you, like, the anticipation of, you see what I'm saying? You see where I'm getting at?
Yeah, yeah. No, I don't know if it's been more, but it's always been high for me as we're marching in, especially since my son started marching with me, and then he became our drummer. So as soon as he hit that downbeat on the drums, it just, I just swell with pride and emotion, and I feel the adrenaline, and I have goosebumps now telling you about it.
Broad Street or Market Street?
Broad Street.
Now, now again, I might not remember all of it, but how many times did the Mummers go down Market Street? Because I remember for the period of time, wasn't that like a controversy?
We went, I believe, for the first time in 1995. And we marched from under the Ben Franklin Bridge from like 2nd and Market up to City Hall. And then we did it again in, I want to say 1999, maybe it was 2001. We did it again.
So what was the standpoint? Like, why did you guys fight like Market Street over Broad Street? What was the whole concept? I mean, what was, again, it's South Philly thing. So
yeah, why we went to Market Street? I think the city wanted that. They wanted us there for some reason. There was something going on Broad Street.
Okay.
There was construction or something in 1995. It escapes me right now.
Fair enough. So let me ask you this question. You've, like I said, you've 8-time champion with Frailinger.
10 actually, because
10,
we won 8 years in a row, and 2011 and 12. Woodland won in 2012. We won in 13. I believe Quaker won in 2011. They won 2014. We won 2015. So yeah, I have 10 first prizes, and it took me 22 years to get my first.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, 22 years for me, and 2 years for my son's second year, he got first.
I usually ask the question now, is it about winning? But let me rephrase this for you, since you've been there so many times. Does it ever get tired of winning it every year?
No, I don't think so. To keep winning, it's a lot of work. It's hard. And, you may say before New Year's, man, what the hell am I doing this for? But to keep winning, and we were very fortunate to win 8 years in a row. I don't think you ever get tired of winning. New Year's night, when the prizes come in, we're marching down 2nd Street, and they call us together to hear our prize, and our families are marching behind us, and the wives, the girlfriends, the kids that don't parade, or the kids, your kid may not be a musician, but he comes up as a marshal on New Year's Day. So you're there with your family. I always say, I have 120 brothers, besides the 4 brothers that I have in real life.
Makes a lot of sense, man. Makes a lot of sense.
You know.
So you're getting ready to march when your very first parade, if you remember,
Mhm.
who gave you your advice, and who was that person?
Oh, wow. There were a few guys that had kind of taken me under their wing, especially like I said, our maintenance supervisor at the high school, Mr. Ralph Saunders, who has since passed away. He kind of kept an eye on me because he had talked me into going, and his sons were in the band, and I would ask him different things, and because I didn't know a lot of the other guys very well, a few of them, Dan Spencer, who was in Garden State with me at the time. It was like an older brother to me. He used to take me all over the place with him. We're still close today. My best friend, Ronnie King, he's one of the King brothers, Tommy King's brother. He was in Garden State at the time, and we were very close. So he would tell me, things like that. There's mostly those guys, Frank Anello, who I'm still friends with today, who's now in Fralinger with me. So
Let's talk. This has been a touchy subject, and I actually had a gentleman to hit me up about it, but I got to talk about it.
Okay.
The judging at the Mummers Parade.
Okay.
Not that it's bad, but as a viewer, sometimes we see things differently. How do you feel about the judging system?
A lot of people complain. They call them drum corps judges. Well, they judge drum corps. They shouldn't be judging string band. They had to go to school for music. My son's a music major. He's going into Rowan this year. Bill Garton, who was in Fralinger, was a music teacher all of his life. They all have to go to school for music. So whether they're whether they're judging drum corps, marching bands, or Dixieland bands, they're judging music. You know what I mean? And the theatrical judges are judging the show, and designers are judging the costume. They're all professionals. I mean, years ago, we had Captain Noah as a judge.
Mm-hmm.
There was a documentary going around in 1980 called Who's Having Fun? And Bill Giles from the Phillies was a judge, who used to own the Phillies. So I'd rather not have those guys judging me. I'd rather have a professional musician judging me.
It's funny.
I'm sorry.
Now, I said it's funny you say Captain Noah. I mean, I'm only 49 years old, but I when you said that, it was like a memory blast. Like I remember even Captain Noah. Yeah, I remember him commentating too.
Yeah. I used to watch him every morning.
Wow.
I'd rather have professional judges. I loved when the music judges used to be on the street and would walk in and out of the band as you were performing. And some people from smaller bands say, oh, well, we don't want them on the street with us. Well, why not? Well, because they'll hear our bad notes. Well, then maybe that will make you practice more, or, you know what I mean? Or the person who is helping out, who just started, maybe it'll inspire them to get better. Yeah.
So when it comes to your guys' themes, who's the brains behind the operations, and how much work, for the people out there watching, how much work is put into coming up with each year to year's theme?
Mm-hmm. Well, you have a lot of people. Anyone can give you an idea for a theme. You could say to me, hey, Bob, how about mimes? Or like Durning String Band one year did a coffee theme, and they were having a meeting, and one of the guys' wives supposedly said, how about coffee? And they did they had Juan Valdez come out. And so you can get an idea from anywhere. Fralinger did a paint theme years ago, and that came, I believe, from a cheerleading competition, the idea for that. So it can come from anywhere or anyone. And then, you have the themes that you didn't pick. So say the themes that are submitted this year aren't striking your fancy. You may go back to the drawing board and look in the file and see what's there. Maybe there's something there that you didn't feel would work then, but may work now.
Have you ever did a theme twice?
Has Fralinger ever done a theme twice? We did a Latin theme in 2005. And then in 1987, they did a Latin theme with fruit, where they had got, they had tangerines on top of their heads, and the guys came out dancing with bananas, and the California raisins came out for the finale.
I remember that.
Yeah, yeah,
And I think you guys won that year too, didn't you?
yeah. They won. Yeah.
I remember that. I remember that.
Yeah.
So is there anything that you have anything to show, like for the audience out there, besides that incredible Fralinger shirt there?
No, not right here. I sent you a few pictures. The one picture in the headpiece is my first suit in 1982. And I know I sent you another picture, but right now I can't remember which one it was. I have so many.
Once I get into becoming a little bit more of a videographer thing, I'll be able to edit more.
Yeah.
Sometimes when I stop this video, I'm afraid I'm going to mess it up somehow and say, "Hey,
Yeah,
Bob,
yeah,
guess
yeah.
what? We got to do this again."
That's not a problem if that happens. But yeah, had I thought about it, or had I spoken to you sooner, I would have put something aside. But yeah, oh yeah, no, the one picture is my son and I with our first prize in 2003. That was before we entered the parade, and someone took a picture of us. We're two aliens. We did a space theme that year.
Nice.
Yeah.
So
it was nice.
If somebody is watching this and they decided, you know what, this is really cool, I might want to get involved with this. And how would they go about getting involved in Mumry, or especially with Fralinger? Let's just say, who would they contact, and how does the process start?
Well, it's a funny you should ask that, because we had a guy that had never marched, and he was in his 20s, and he's still a member of the band. He reached out on our website and emailed us, and they got back to him, and he joined the band. So just go on any organizations, if you're interested in Fralinger, go to fralinger.org. You can email us. There are some phone numbers there of our booking, our booking agent who's a member of the band. You can reach out to him, and someone will get back to you.
Awesome.
We're always looking for new talent. I mean, we're getting, guys like me are getting old. I mean, I just turned 57, so.
Does the size of the band, I guess, does it matter when it comes to judging? Because I've seen it to where some of the other bands have a lot more members, they're a little bit more louder. Does it matter?
Yes and no. You could be the biggest band on the street, but if you're not playing correctly or playing musically, you're not going to do well. You know what I mean? And a smaller band, take for example, 1992, Fralinger did an Indian theme. That was my first suit with Fralinger. And Hageman did like a Cab Calloway theme. And they wore tuxedos, and they won. They came up and they kicked everybody's butt.
Wow.
So they were a little ahead of us in line of march, and they played well. I still say that they were good, but we were bigger, we played louder and faster, but they may have done something that the judges liked a little better than what we did.
Very cool. Well, Bob, I want to thank you for your time today and sharing your story, a Mummer story, with everybody. It was great to have you on. I'm glad you're feeling well.
Thanks for having me on, John. I appreciate it.
Absolutely.
Thanks for doing this. This is great.
Yeah. Hey, anything, man. I like doing these documentaries. You find out a lot about a person, and you find out a lot about, different organizations. So,
Sure.
Yeah, I have fun, and it's all Philadelphia history.
Yeah. There are a lot of stories out there. Like I saw your post about the female moms. I call them fee-mums. And in Broomall, when I was in Broomall, we were a co-ed band. And I'll tell you what, I'll put those girls up against anybody, and a lot of them in Furco now, because Furco started taking women. And I believe Furco's going to make a comeback with them, because they're really good players. And so
I had an interview with a nice young lady from Furco today, and a high school girl, and she, the energy in that, and her, and
Mhm.
yeah, I agree with you 100%. I agree with you
Mhm.
100%. It's times are changing. It's already happened with the Mummers, so
Sure. I was, I left Fralinger for 2 years when my kids were young. And I wound up back in Durning and wound up becoming music director. And we had some guys leave and we became co-ed when I was music director. And had it not been for those ladies, we wouldn't have made it up the street that year.
wow,
And Durning's still going strong, I believe, because they're co-ed.
very cool. See,
Yeah.
that's a lot of things that people just, they just don't know. They don't understand.
Yeah, you have some of these women are really great players. You have Claudia Blackford in Furco. She's a terrific banjo player. A lot of their horns, Mary McGraw. Um, I think you just did an interview with Aubrey Roney. She's going to be great. She's young. She can only get better up there. You know what I mean? When you're with better players, you become a better player, I believe,
Yeah,
because you're listening to them, you're learning from them. You may have had bad habits from where you came from, and now you're listening to someone who's a more astute player. You know,
yeah.
you can only get better.
Well, yeah, Bob, I want to, thank you for your time. I don't want to take too much up.
Thank
Um,
John. I appreciate
hey,
the time you took to talk to me.
yeah, and I'm looking forward to 2023.
Yeah, I think it's going to be a great year. You're going to see a lot of different things.
Awesome. Well, Bob, you take care, stay safe, and have a blessed year.
You as well, John. Thank you. Be safe on the street.